Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into AGENUS Inc's recent filing. Buckle up because we're about to uncover some interesting news that involves stock options, plans to give employees more stock, and what the shareholders think about how the company is paying its executives. Are they getting too much or are they worth every penny? We're going to find out. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where we discuss financial reports. Join us. AGENUS Inc. held its annual meeting back in June of 2025, where several important issues were put to a vote by the stockholders, essentially the owners of the company. Let's get into what was voted on and what the results mean. First, the stockholders voted on who should be on the board of directors. Specifically, they re-elected Brian Corvese and Timothy Wright as Class I directors for another 3-year term expiring in 2028. These are the people who help guide the company's strategy. When the votes were tallied, Corvese received about 6 million votes for him, while close to 5 million votes were withheld, meaning people didn't agree that he should be kept in. Wright received almost 7 million votes for him, with about 4 million votes being withheld. These guys made it in, but not everyone was happy about it. Next up was a proposal to pump up the number of shares available in the company's 2019 equity incentive plan. This is basically a way for the company to give employees stock as a reward or incentive. They wanted to increase the number of shares from about 5 million to about 12 million. What this means in practice is the company wanted to have more shares to give to employees. Maybe because they feel they need to give bigger incentives. This passed with about 6 million votes for and close to 5 million against it. It seems like it was a very controversial come back 5 million to about 12 million. What this means in practice is the company wanted to have more shares to give to employees, maybe because they feel they need to give bigger incentives. This passed with about 6 million votes for and close to 5 million against it. It seems like it was a very controversial topic for the stockholders. Then there was a vote to increase the number of shares set aside for the directors' deferred compensation plan. Think of this as a retirement plan for the board members. They wanted to bump up the number of shares from roughly 63,000 to almost 89,000. This also passed about 7 million voting for it and close to 4 million against it. Again, it looks like shareholders had mixed feelings. Another proposal was to increase the number of shares in the employee stock purchase plan. This plan lets employees buy company stock at a discount. The company wanted to increase it from 100,000 shares to 150,000 shares. This passed again with over 7.6 million votes for this and about 3 million against. The board is clearly eager to give employees and themselves more shares, probably because of how valuable they think those shares will become in the future. However, it wasn't all smooth sailing. A proposal to allow a one-time exchange of employee stock options ran into trouble. Stock options give employees the right to buy stock at a set price in the future. This proposal did not pass. About 4.8 million people voted for it, but close to 6 million voted against it. This means shareholders didn't like the idea of employees swapping out their existing options. The logic being that if we invested you to do better with these stock options, you better fulfill it or take it elsewhere. A non-binding vote on executive compensation, which is essentially a yay or nay on how the top bosses are being paid, also failed to pass. About 5.1 million votes were cast for it, narrowly losing to the 5.2 million against the proposal. The signal here is clear. A significant portion of shareholders aren't happy with what the top executives are being paid. This is a non-binding vote, so the company doesn't have to change anything, but it's a pretty strong message. Finally, the shareholders voted to keep KPMG as the company's independent accounting firm for the year. Essentially, they're the ones who make sure the company's financial statements are accurate. Over 13.6 million voted yes, while almost 3 million said no. Breaking down the voting, it's clear that shareholders had strong opinions on several issues. While the board of directors election and the proposals to increase shares for incentive plans, deferred compensation and employee stock purchases were approved with significant support, there was notable opposition. The failure of the stock option exchange and the vote on executive compensation highlights shareholder concerns about how employees are being incentivized and how much executives are paid. Now, putting on my Warren Buffett hat for a moment, the executive compensation vote is the most interesting thing to look at today. It highlights a misalignment between management management and shareholders. When a significant number of shareholders disapprove of executive pay, it suggests they don't believe executives are delivering enough value to justify their compensation. This can signal deeper issues within the company, such as a lack of confidence in the leadership team or a perception that executives are not aligned with the long-term interests of the shareholders. This is not a good sign and potentially a good thing for a value investor to dig deeper and uncover the real reason behind this. Alright, that's our breakdown of AGENUS Inc.'s latest filing. What's your take on these votes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.